Hello, welcome to Korean 121. My name is Eunha Jung, and I have a PhD in linguistics, so I'm somewhat qualified to teach Korean. Okay, my name Eunha Jung. If you actually see the Korean orthography here, script here, you will know what we call the first name is actually our second name or the last name, and what we call the last name is the first name because the family name comes first, which is very symbolic because Korea is a very collectivist society. It's less individualistic, although we're heading in that direction. So it makes sense for us to put our family first, right? But anyway, so Jung is my last name, and my first name is Eunha. Okay, just in a nutshell, this really captures a lot. Eunha, a lot of Koreans have this naming scheme whereby we borrow Chinese characters to come up with the meaning. But the way it's written here is in Korean. I can write it in Chinese. In Chinese, in terms of the Chinese meaning, it means Silver River, or sometimes it could mean the galaxy. So I have a rather grand name, if you will. Eunha is a difficult sound for you to pronounce because the vowel this vowel, does not exist in English. The way for you to remember is if you were to imagine yourself punched in the stomach, you'd probably utter a sound like That's the sound. And then so ha. So notice already you learned something. In Korean, each syllable combines itself, like several characters, several letters come together, like A, B, C, come together to form a syllable. In English, syllables are written out like A, B, C, cat, C-A-T, right? But in Korean, they're combined into one square-shaped character. So each syllable is one character, but it's still an alphabetical system. So that should give you an advantage, right? Because you're coming from an alphabetical system as well. Welcome. Okay, recently I've been really tickled by the popularity of the Korean culture and language. And here's an extreme example. I was traveling in Buenos Aires, and at a dance place, I met this guy, and he asked me if I was Korean, and later on he showed me how hard he's been studying Korean all on his own. His name is Giovanni. Meet Giovanni. And the reason that he got into studying Korean was because he was watching television and he saw some people who looked like they could be Korean, Chinese, Japanese. I guess he didn't know anything about Koreans. But then he liked the sound of the language, so he decided to study it just for the sound of it because it sounded so beautiful. Incidentally, on the corner of that TV screen was a little symbol, which we will get to later. It's arirang. And that was the symbol for the TV station. And arirang happens to be the most quintessential, most famous Korean folk song. But he didn't know that when he was playing the violin, and this was his favorite song when he would practice the violin. So now everything came together. He just fell in love with the culture and he decided to study it. So every empty space he can find, the back of some scrap paper or whatnot, he would write Korean. So this kind of enthusiasm should inspire you, because he wasn't doing it for a grade, he was doing it for the love of it. Isn't that cool? So let's ask yourselves this question. If you want to do a good job here, am I really ready to take on this challenge? Let's see. First of all, it's an online class. What's required in online class is quite a bit different from what's required in an on-ground class. I have been there in college. Were some classes that I really didn't do much in, and yet I pulled a good grade. You cannot do that. First of all, in a language class, okay? Secondly, in an online class, there's no faking it, okay? So you need a ton of self-discipline. If you don't already have it, you have to get it somewhere, okay? Buy it from Walmart. You have to have a motivation, Okay, maybe it will give you a good job, which is possible because I've had my former students landing good jobs because they had the second language ability. One computer guy, because he was working on the computer system language, and his limited knowledge of Korean gave him a leg up. I had one female student who became an executive assistant to some supermarket CEO because that supermarket also had stores in Asian areas, and her knowledge of limited Korean was helpful. So that should motivate you. Time. You need plenty of time. Language, if you stop to think about how much time little babies spend acquiring a language without actually signing in to a website or listening to tapes or anything, but they spend tons of time. And with adults, we don't have a lot of time. So for you to think that you could be raising 5 children, have 2 jobs and a one night shift and a failing marriage and failing health and this and that, you are completely mistaken. Okay, you should be able to give yourself at least 2 hours a day. You need a lot of support, not just financial support, but emotional support. So when you're busy doing your homework, your kids can kind of tiptoe around you and do their own chores, not to bother you, that kind of thing. It's very important. Technology, of course, it's an online class. So high-speed internet, thumb drive, Microsoft Office. Wait. Oh, by the way, this is the platform we'll be using, Canvas. And so high-speed internet, a thumb drive, Microsoft Office. And if you don't have Microsoft Office, you can download OpenOffice, which is free, openoffice.org. But I don't know if you can type in Korean. And backup computer, because your computer will fail, I'm telling you. Okay, and we have some programs, Skype on the computer, because your oral test will be given through Skype, and you will be doing this program activity called the Skype Pals. So once a week you're going to get together with your Korean pal and practice Korean. It's going to be like a half and half language exchange kind of a thing. Okay, and recordings using these different programs. So Skype. And then Audacity is a program that you can download for free on your computer to record each week's lesson. Okay, but if you have a smartphone, there is an easier option. It's called Audio Memos. It's an app. You can download it for free, and it's very easy to use. And then Study Aid. There's a website called Quizlet. And Quizlet is like a flashcards website. And all the flashcards for this class are already made. I made them. You don't have to thank me. It's my job. I mean, it really, in the old days when I was going to school, when I took French and Spanish, nobody made flashcards for me. I did. So you should thank me. You should thank me. Okay, and then you will also need Korean keyboard stickers so that you can, because you're gonna learn the Korean script, okay? There's no relying on romanization, the English transliteration of Korean. Nope, we're gonna wean away from that right away. And then you will need to learn to type in Korean as well. Where do you get the stickers? There is a store called H Mart, both in Linwood and Federal Way. And if nothing else, these are just fun stores to visit. And you can just immerse yourself in the Korean culture, stuff, people, food, you name it. And Amazon.com. But when you go to H Mart, by the way, you need to be a little persistent. Some people don't know there are small stores in this big grocery store. You need to be persistent. I don't know, sometimes it could be in the cosmetics counter, or it can be in some little trinket kind of counter in different places. You need to be persistent and keep asking. Or you can get it from Amazon.com. Good old Amazon.com, right? And your computing skills, of course. Oh, by the way, speaking of computing skills, if you have never taken an online class, I strongly, strongly, strongly urge you, short of not being able to make you do it, I want you to sign up for General Studies 97. It's an orientation class for Canvas, and it's offered for free, and it can be completed online or I want to say on foot, on ground. But I want you to finish this class within the first couple of weeks so that you won't have any trouble navigating, because I am not going to hear you cry and moan about how, oh, I couldn't find the assignment so I couldn't do it. No. Okay, how do I get assessed? Okay, your total will be based on weekly quizzes, weekly recordings. You know, I told you about Audacity and this Audio Memos app. So you need to get familiar with these tools. And the final exam, which is both written and oral, 20%, and textbook exercises and other assignments, 20%. Okay. Okay, textbook exercises, I need to explain this a little bit because, you know, before you learn to type in Korean, you might have to handwrite the exercises. In which case, whew, thank God for smartphones. I want you to take a picture of those exercise pages and email them to me. Isn't that cool? And discussions and Korean pals. Both of these are for extra credit. So if I'm in a really good mood when I grade your final exams, then, you know, and you've done some of these extra credit stuff, I might give you some generous, you know, points. You never know. Okay, the textbook is, ooh, I lost it. It's called, where are you? There's a picture of it here. Maybe I didn't upload it. It's called You Speak Korean. It's a yellow cover and it's available from the bookstore. And from the textbook, we're going to cover the preliminary section, mainly. Okay, let's go out. I'm just bummed out that the textbook page is not here. But anyway, that's good enough. We're going to cover the preliminary section and Korean script, Korean orthography. This is my dream. I have a dream. You will all learn to read Korean within the first half of the quarter. How cool is that? And common expressions that are in the preliminaries and some lessons that come after preliminaries. So you'll be well equipped to use Korean after this class. How cool is that? Okay. The platform we'll be using is called Canvas, and you can access it by going to olympicinstructure.com, and when you go there you will see this page, login page, and the login information is found here. You should be able to log in, and then you'll be led to this page. No, not necessarily. You'll go to this page and you have to find your course, but up here you can change your settings and upload photos and do all the fancy stuff. You can even link it to your Facebook so that your 500 best friends forever can see, you know, how you're doing. I don't know how much privacy is actually guaranteed. Do people value privacy these days? It seems like people want to be known. I don't. Anyway, and then when you go to the home page, you will see the course modules. So this course is divided by modules. And week 1, week 2, weekly. It's easy. Each week I want you to go to the to-do list first. And then it will lead you to different assignments and different tasks and such. Okay? So you can see in week 1 already you have to do a recording. And A+, that doesn't mean that you're going to get an A+, it means it's going to be graded. And whenever you see this little, you know, cartoon bubble thing, that means there's a discussion going on. Okay, so I want you to become very familiar with these things. All right. And then week 1 recording, I'm going to give you an example of a task. So preliminaries A needs to be recorded. And this can be done in one of the 3 ways: voice memos on your smartphone, or Audacity, or I think it's audio memos. Same thing. I mean, I think there is a program called voice memos too. Audacity, but Audacity, it's a little more involved because you have to save it as a WAV file. Another option, if you have a super fast computer with all the bells and whistles on your browser, you can actually record it directly into the media recording section. When you go to the assignment, there's going to be a tab that says media recording. I haven't been able to do it on my computer. So Audacity, if you don't have a smartphone. Audio memos, if you do have a smartphone. And then media upload from the Canvas page itself. It says record media, see file upload. If you already have it saved using Audacity, you'll do this. But if you want to directly record on your Canvas page, you can do this. But this one, mine gets stuck here all the time, so I don't like it. But if you have a super fast computer, you can just click on the microphone and do it. And if you want to show me your face, you can just do this and do the whole multimedia thing. How cool is that? But there's no guarantee that I will be able to see it all or play it very well. I mean, there is that difficulty. So I don't strongly encourage you to use this. See, whenever there is technology, there's always a chance that the technology might fail or might not be available to everybody. Okay, how to ace this class? Log in regularly. Do not procrastinate. This is very, 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 very important. I am not your mother. I used to wake up my daughter in the morning so they should go to school. Sometimes she didn't want to go to school. But my parenting days are over, and I have no illusions about it. There's no way. I don't even feel nostalgic about my parenting days, okay? So don't make me your mother. I am not your mother. If you choose to procrastinate, that's your business. But really, that is going to hurt you. It's not how smart you are or even how hard you work. I guess that's part of it. Yeah, it's really not how smart you are or how much linguistic aptitude you have. It is a matter of logging in regularly and staying on top of things, seriously. And don't be shy because it's a language class. I mean, of course, it is sort of like if you were to try to talk with Koreans in the store, for instance, you'll feel like you're in this adult world and you're the only one wearing diapers. It is, I've been there. I know how embarrassing it can be. But you need to get over it. That's the best way to learn. Interact with Koreans. Go to a Korean store and go to your shoe repair person. I know there is a shoe repair shop at Fred Meyer's. There's a Korean guy. Go talk to him. And 6th and Warren, right next to the Diamond parking place, across the street from Bremerton Social Club, whatever that might be, is a Korean store. So go in there and interact with Koreans. Just ask silly questions. Say hi. Memorize, memorize, memorize. One thing I have noticed about American school system and American students is that you guys don't know how to memorize. You don't know how to memorize. Do you remember your mother's phone number? Do you remember your boyfriend's phone number? Do you remember anything? Do you remember the multiplication tables? But language classes, you cannot succeed in a language class without memorizing. Memorize everything, every single dialogue, every single vocabulary word, everything. Memorize, memorize, memorize. And when I was studying for GRE, which is a graduate school aptitude test that I had to take to come to school here in the US, I would memorize one word by writing it down and saying it 500 times. Okay? 500 times. 500 times. And complete all the assignments in a timely manner, but more than anything else, you gotta enjoy. So what will I get out of all this hard work? Appreciation for Korean culture and language, which is a cool thing because Korea is up and coming. Read, write, speak, and understand the basic level Korean. How cool is that? I mean, knowing another language opens so many doors. It's just you cannot even begin to fathom how cool it is. Computing skills. Yeah, you'll learn that too. Make Korean friends and you should be able to impress them. and you are going to be ready for a trip to Korea. I have had quite a few former students who went to Korea, took classes, and brought back credits from Korean universities. All kinds of cool things happened that you haven't imagined, I believe. And you can understand Korean pop music, Korean soap operas, and movies. I mean, they are hot because. And then maybe you can become an honorary Korean. Remember the Korean figure skater won the gold medal at the Olympics in the Winter Olympics in Vancouver? Because this guy's Psy's doing Gangnam Style, we're doing Bremerton style. Okay, we are Bremerton style. Welcome.